All right, so back to our second video of this little series I'm creating. This is my final product of my Bitmoji classroom. Super cute, love it. There's me. If I wanted to make it interactive, I could upload it into Google Slides and add hyperlinks to it. Now it's a bit advanced. I'm not going to worry about that right now because I'm just trying to set up my classrooms, and I can do that later. So when you save this, you can't save it as a PowerPoint, or maybe you can, but I found an easier way to do it. What I do is I go down here, I click on this, and then I type in the word snipping tool. Now, usually it'll bring it up right after like the first 3 letters. Go ahead and click it and add it to your taskbar. That will add it down here so you can just access it quickly. If you need to pause to do that, definitely do that. So what I do is I take my snipping tool. It might take a second to mess around with it, and then I'm going to drag the corners of the snipping tool around my image here, and then I'm going to save it. When I save it, I'm going to save it as banner. The reason why I'm saving it as banner, well, you're going to see in a second. I'm going to show you in this video how to set up your course settings and to create your home page in your course. And that might include hyperlinks, it might not. We'll get there in a second. So I'm going to stop the share here, and I'm going to head over to Canvas. Well, it's not going to be Canvas right away. It's going to be a Zoom. You know how it be. So I am in one of my first grade classes right now. And probably a lot of your pages have looked like this as soon as you start, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. What we're going to do is we are going to go to settings. Look at all this stuff in the way. I don't need any of that, and neither do my students. So the reason why we're going to start with settings is to move some of that stuff around, as well as set up some pretty stuff. So for my image, I can choose my banner. I can choose something that just says my name. I can choose basically whatever I want. There's also the Unsplash that was right behind here. Feel free to use some images from that if you want to. It's totally up to you. Oops, I do want to be here. But I'm going to use my banner for now because I like it. It's pretty. I put work into it. So now the image on my dashboard is going to show this as well. I don't know which class this is, so I'm not going to name it, but I would go into students or people, which is right over here, and try to find a couple of students and then look them up in EdConnect to figure out who the teacher is. And then I would change the name to first grade music dash or hyphen to the teacher. I'm going to put my start date as August 24th, which means students can view but not participate in the class until then. And then I'm going to set it as the ending date as June 1st, just so it gives me a little bit of time to edit things if I need to, or to put in grades from Canvas to Edsby. And that's that. So now that I've done that, I'm going to update my course details. And then to make things a little bit easier, since I'm a music teacher, I do not teach a lot of math. I teach some math, but it's not my main stuff. And neither is Dropout Detective. I'm not going to use that. Discovery Education. Those are things that I'm not necessarily going to use in music. That doesn't mean that I can't. There's a lot of science in music. There's a lot of math in music. What it means is it's not applicable right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some of this stuff down. Anything that I don't think I'm going to use right away, or that I don't think is applicable to first grade music, it's just going to get moved. I can go back and add it later if I want, or even like take some of the stuff off that I don't think I'm going to need. So it's totally up to you and what you teach, but as soon as you drag them down, the students are no longer going to see it on the left-hand side of the screen. I'm not going to be doing collaborations with first grade, maybe later in the year, but right now they just need to learn how to use Canvas, and I think that would get a little confusing. The other thing that I'm going to get rid of was outcomes. I think that's about it. So I'm going to save that. Make sure you press save. I didn't once, and I had to do that all again, and it's not a major waste of time, but it is a pain in the butt. Any of this you can kind of go through and add in your own. If you want to add in apps, go for it. For music teachers, there's not a lot. You basically have to add your own, like musictheory.net, YouTube links, Drumbit, Chrome Music Lab. You'll have to add that into a module. If you're another kind of teacher, scroll through the apps and see if there's something that you can use. And if not, you don't have to add it right now. You can add it later and it will link to your course. So far, this is my course, very pretty. Now I'm gonna go back to the homepage. Now the problem with the homepage is that it's still boring. So what I'm gonna do now is I want you to go down to Commons and click on it. I'm just gonna click on the one that I have pulled up. And you're gonna see that I have this here. I'm gonna stop sharing for 1 second. And then I want you to type in homepage template. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing again so you can see what I see. Here it is. And there's a ton of templates on here that you can kind of like navigate through. So the one that I'm gonna use is this one. I think it's really pretty. I think that it's colorful, it catches the eye, and that's something that we're definitely gonna need to use when engaging with students this year. So what I would do now, I've already done it, so I'm not gonna do it again, is I'm gonna import/download it. And this is how many classes I have. You're gonna do that into whichever classes you want. For me, I had already done all because I'm just gonna edit them for each grade level. And then for each grade level, I'm gonna edit one and then import it to the rest of the classes in that grade level. But how you do that is totally up to you. Once you do that, I'm gonna show you how to edit your banner. That's this main one, and then these buttons down here. Because I'm a music teacher, I'm not gonna be teaching science or math. I mean, I am, but most of these are gonna be music related links. So now I'm gonna go back over here and I'm gonna go to, I wanna change my homepage, sorry, to pages front page. You could do modules if you want, especially if you're in middle or high school, that might be a good start for you. But for me, I'm gonna go with pages front page. Gonna save that, and I'll probably see that banner pop up now. Yeah, so it's still not music related for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down to files. Since I've imported this file, I can now edit it to my heart's desire, which is awesome. I'm gonna click here, course image, and then it's gonna show buttons. The first thing that I'm gonna do, and this is the reason why you saved your snip as banner, is I'm gonna delete that bad boy and I'm gonna upload my own banner, which is also what I used as the course picture because I just kind of liked it. And it's totally up to you on if you want to add in the extra work of doing more. Absolutely up to you. All right, so now I've got my new banner. Let's go and see how it looks on my homepage. All right, so now I've got Welcome to Music with Miss Rice. Now it's starting to look a lot better. I'm gonna go back to files. I need to change those buttons down there. So what you can do for buttons is you can go onto Google Images again. Remember to look up images labeled for reuse. That means that they're not copyrighted. There will be no legalities involved. Go ahead and start there. After you have your image, go ahead and go back over to PowerPoint. So for me, I found a nice Tiffany blue record player and I used that to make my buttons. It's simple. Remember, you can do more or do less. It's totally up to you and your style. For me, just starting out, I decided to keep it really simple and then I can go back and change it as needed. So what I did after that is I took my snipping tool and I took another snip of this and it came out really well, and I'll show you how. when you save it, make sure you're saving it in the same places where your banner is. It'll make your life a little bit easier. Save it as button 1 because we're going to replace all of those buttons in there. So you're going to go with button 1, button 2, button 3, or button 4, and go all the way down, all of the buttons. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm back to Google Chrome Canvas. I'm on course image again. And I'm back to buttons. All right. So now, the easiest thing to do is to actually delete this whole folder and kind of create your own, but I'm just gonna delete them. It's gonna take me a second. I'm not gonna do them all right now. Well, maybe I will, because then I won't have to do it later. So, they will probably lose like their hyperlink because the teacher who created this template had, you know, it linked obviously to her homepage stuff, which is awesome. For me, that doesn't work. The other thing that I think I've picked up on, I'm not sure if this is true or not, is that there are 11 buttons total that this teacher used. That means that I might also need to have 11 buttons ready to go. Right now I only have 7, so some of these ones that I'm deleting might show back up. We'll see what happens. I'm not super worried about it. I'll come up with 11 buttons and they will be absolute fun stuff. So now that I've got my buttons saved, I did modules, I did a couple of other things. You'll see them here in a second. So I've got button 1, and then to select more than one, just hold down the control button on your computer. Button 6 and button 7 are blank right now. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. They load pretty quickly, which is awesome. All right, so they should be loaded. Let's go see how my homepage looks now. Right, I've got my banner, and then check it out. I've got my other ones that have come up. My blank ones did not show up, probably because I replaced them with something else. That's on my end. But I still gotta come up with some other ones for these. Now remember, you can make them as fancy or as simple as you want. This is totally up to you. You can hyperlink these. I do not think that mine are hyperlinked yet. I've got like the first 5 days. So I guess you can edit these into like different pages and stuff. I will do another video on hyperlinking to different external tools like Google Classroom or Google Slides, or to creating different pages through your buttons. Right now, I will not be doing that because I have not learned that all the way yet, but as soon as I do, I will have something new for you. The next thing that you're going to probably want to work on is your modules. So you're going to want to set up your classroom expectations, procedures, probably just for online for now. I'll share mine once I have some set up. Remember that they can change. We don't start until the 24th. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for joining in. See you next time.